Hey everyone, welcome to Math 2. This is quarter 2 Math 2. This is supposed to be a helpful video, I hope it is, on your first little quiz. So this is 1.1 quarter 2 pretest. When I call it a pretest, that means that it's covering things that really are Math 1 topics, but I kind of want to see where you're at. So I'm going to click Continue Assessment. Oh, sorry. I should really reset the assessment. So I'm going to start the assessment. So this one says solve. Negative c is equal to 7. Negative c is equal to 7. You'll notice I have Desmos opened up over here. That's really useful. You can use Desmos.com on your computer, or you can use it actually as an app on your phone. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you're welcome to get it from your app store. Now, this doesn't like C, but the computer would like it better if I did an X. And let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, here we go. And Desmos is telling us that the answer graphs at negative 7. Let's see if that's true. X equals negative 7. That's really the same. See how the green and the blue are the same? So think about why that would be the case. If you make the negative into positive, you can do that, but then you have to change the other side of the equation also. So if the left side goes from negative to positive, the right side goes from positive to negative, right? They both have to change. You've got to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. So this would be c is equal to the opposite of 7, or negative 7. Cool. Let's try another one. This one says n minus 7 is equal to 8. So n minus 7 is equal to 8. Oh, I did it again. I used n. So let's use x. Computers really like x. Now let's see. So the answer is 15. Cool. Why is it 15? It's 15 because what we're really doing, let's just start with the problem here again. What we're really doing is we're adding 7 to both sides. And we're doing that because 7 minus 7 is really 0. Right? 7 minus 7 is 0. So I can get rid of that. See, I had the 7 minus 7, and that becomes 0. And that leaves us with just the 8 plus 7. So another way to think about that is that this minus 7 jumped on the other side of the equal sign and became its opposite, which is plus 7. We did the opposite to the other side. And so, of course, 8 plus 7 is 15, just like Desmos tells us it is. So let's put that in there. Cool. Things are turning green. They're all good. So this one says 8 times a number is 40. 8 times a number is 40. So what number would that be? 8 times something is 40. Well, you could do it on your fingers. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So I think 8 times 5 is 40. You could also use Desmos. If you use x, 8 times x is 40. And you can see that the answer is 5. And you could even think of it this way. You could divide both sides by 8. And what that does is 8 over 8 becomes 1. And 1 times x is x. So you have x is equal to 40 over 8. 40 divided by 8, which is 5. There we go. 8 times 5 is 40. How about this one? Some number, I'm going to blank these out here. Some number cut in half is 5. So what number would you have to cut in half to make 5? Well, 10, wouldn't it? 10 cut in half is 5? I think so. Now, the other way to think about that is you can say, well, what if I don't want to cut it in half? What if I want the whole x? So I'm going to double it. So instead of being a half donut or a half whatever, I'm going to make it the whole thing. I'm going to double it. But then you'd have to do that to both sides. You'd have to multiply by 2 on both sides. So if you do that, then the 2 divided by 2 cancels out. And on the right, you have the 2 times 5. Here, I shouldn't have deleted all this. Let's make this over here. So you can see that these are the same. They land on each other. There we go. They land on each other. They're the same. So x is equal to 10. But we knew that. Let's keep going. Ooh, use algebra to solve this guy. Let's do a little bit harder one. Cool. So what we want to do is get the x by itself. Now, first of all, we can see the answer. It's 1. But let's kind of figure out why it's 1. So I'm going to go ahead and click 1. It's okay. But let's think about why is that the case. So if we have 3x plus 7 equals 7x plus 3, I kind of want to combine these x's. So what if I subtract the 3x on the left side, but then I have to subtract 3x on the right side? Let's make this a little wider here. There we go. So I subtracted 3x on the left, but I also subtracted 3x on the right. I can do that, and you'll notice it's the same as the black one. Now, 3x minus 3x is 0, so I could take those out. That leaves us with 7 is equal to 7x minus 3x is equal to 3. 7x minus 3x is the same as 4x, because 7x's take away 3x's is 4x's. And you can see that we're still good, we're still the same. And then this 3, let's just take that 3 away. Let's just subtract 3. But we have to do it to both sides. That's the rule of algebra. You can do anything you want so long as you do it to both sides of the equal sign. So here I subtracted 3 from both sides. 3 minus 3 is 0, so I can take that out. 7 minus 3 is 4. Okay, remember, pause if I'm going too fast. Pause, back it up, think about it some more. It's okay. So 4 is equal to 4x. So this is really saying 4 times what number is 4? Well, I think 4 times 1 is 4, don't you think? But we already knew it's 1. We said that from the beginning. The other way to check this is we can divide by 4 on both sides. So 4 over 4 is 1, and 4 over 4 is 1, and 1x is x. And here we can see that we still are exactly the same. So I hope that helped. That's kind of a tricky one. Now let me just point out that you only needed to get half of the questions right on this test, this quiz, to get a passing grade. I'm setting the passing score at half, so 4 out of 8 would have passed. 5 out of 8, you're already getting a better than a D. So let's just look at this one really quick. This one says graph, let me delete these out. It says the graph of g of x is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 8. And it says use the graph to solve the equation g of x equals 4. Well, let's try to understand what they're saying here. G of x is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 8. All right, so we've got this, parabola here. And it's really the same as this one. It looks a little bit squeezed, but it's the same. Now, sorry about that. So we see that those are the same. And then it says use the graph to solve the equation when is g of x equal to 4. Now, g of x is equal to 4. So that's what we're saying. So solve means when do these two meet? When are they the same? So they're the same right here and here, aren't they? Right, that's where the two cross, this flat line, g of x equals 4, and this parabolic curve, x squared plus 4x equals, x squared plus 4x minus 8. All right, so we're saying when are they the same? Or another way to put that, when is the green parabola at the height of 4? And it's at the height of 4 when x is negative 6 and when x is 2. So let's say that. So it is at negative 6 and at 2. Those are the two places. Okay, let's submit the question. There we go. Turned green, we got it right. Let's just take a look at a few more questions just to see how they are. Oh, so this one says put dots on the graph where the zeros can be found. Then list the zeros. Well, the zeros are when does this curve fall to the height of 0. So it's at 0 here, and it's at 0 here. So let's put dots there. So I'm going to put a dot here at negative 3 and put a dot here at 2. So let's list those zeros. The zeros are negative 3 and 2. because those are the two places where the curve is at the height of 0. Those are called the zeros, or the solutions. All right, let's look at this one. Consider the function graphed at right. What are the x-intercepts of the function? I'm going to make this larger here because we're not using Desmos right now. Consider the x-intercepts of the function. That is, where does this cross the x-axis? Well, it crosses right here at -7, and it crosses right here at -3. So on this one, I think we're going to need to put them in as ordered pairs. So notice that this spot is -7, 0 in parentheses. Then I put a comma between my parentheses to separate them. And then in my next parentheses, I have -3, 0. All right, and then it says, what are the zeros? Well, the zeros is the same idea, but the zeros aren't points. They're just what x values are they. So the zeros are -7 and -3. So you'll notice that this one, x-intercepts, you write as coordinate points with parentheses, and the zeros, you just put the number. What number is it at 0? Cool. And that's the end of the quiz. Hey, please let me know how things are going. I'm concerned about all of you. I'm hoping you're doing well, and I'd love to help you in person, hopefully soon. So hang in there, and please keep in touch.